Hello, welcome to the Super Lua Update discussion. My name is Mrs. Warren and I'm here with
Mrs. Wyatt.
Let's go ahead and talk about the title. The title is there, Pisupo Lua Afe, and then the artist is Michael Tuffrey. Sorry, I did the thing we tried not to do.
Right.
Michael Tuffrey. The historical period is in the Pacific, and the materials and techniques, we're looking at a cow made out of, or a bull made out of tin cans that are riveted together, and the tin cans had corned beef in them previously, so they are recycled. And at some point too, this had a system in it that would make the bowl have smoke coming out of it, which is not pictured here. The intended purpose, Michael Tuffrey had issues speaking, writing, reading when he was young, so he actually was encouraged to express himself through drawing. And then now the artwork that he creates, like Pisupo Lua Afe, is actually aimed primarily at children. And this is hoping to engage their curiosity and inspire them to care for both their own health and that of the environment. There wasn't any patron, but the intended audience was, once again, children. And then Mrs. Wyatt will go ahead and go over the questions.
So our first question is, for whom did Tuffrey make this artwork? And we already discussed that he made it for children, and he's very interested in this two-sided argument here. First one is their own health, and part of it is because the children of New Zealand, for many years, the diet there consisted of what they could get from the earth. Things like taro root and then fish from the sea. And it was a very natural diet that was very specific to New Zealand. Then with the introduction of all these canned goods, the diet has changed dramatically. And because things like corned beef are not made from really healthy ingredients, too much salt, too much fat, they're having a problem with people becoming way overweight, and then diabetes and heart disease and high blood pressure is following that. So it's kind of to educate people to try to eat a little more healthy. And then there's also the environmental aspect of having the cans. What do you do with them? How do you recycle the plastics that are coming in? And all of those things, because they do live on a small island. So it's hitting them two ways, both through health and environment. What does Pisupo mean? Well, Pisupo is a Samoan language version of pea soup. And nowadays, Pisupo just means anything that is canned. So any canned food in New Zealand is called Pisupo. What impact has cattle raising had on the natural environment in New Zealand and in the Pacific Islands? Well, when you introduce cattle into an environment that doesn't already have it, you have a lot of problems that happen with water, and then how they eat the plants and what it does to the landscapes, as well as with the industrialization that comes with the industrialization of the farm that happens, instead of having the traditional small farmer who's creating food for the population. The last thing that we wanted to talk about is what keeps the Pacific Island from having food sovereignty. Well, food sovereignty is also sometimes called food security. And there are two things that have happened that have really hurt New Zealand. And one of them is that they had a taro leaf blight. And so taro being a commodity that a lot of people ate, it became really hard to get. And then the other thing is drift net fishing. And he has another piece here of a fish that is made out of tuna type cans and things like that. And he actually lights this thing on fire and he smokes fish inside of it. And so it actually has a smell that is in the museum from using it for that purpose. But those two things are stopping them from having food sovereignty. What you want to do is eat foods that are, it's that whole farm to table thing, that you want to eat things that are local, that are good for you, and that you have grown up with. Mrs. Bourne, is there anything you would like to add?
No, but I would like to say that I can't imagine how that must smell now, years
No.
after.
Yes.
Tuna cans don't traditionally have the best smell.
No, and it's really interesting too that that fragrance is now involved in this particular piece. That's a whole new element that we really don't talk about in art.
Mm-hmm.
So
Awesome.
this is going to end up our discussion on Pisupa, and we will. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you.